Hawkmon, one of the main partners from Digimon Adventure 02, is back for a sort of guest appearance in the 18th episode of the newest season, Digimon Ghost Game. But is this the official 02 Ghost Game crossover? Did Hito and the others meet an adult Yoli? Is Armor Evolution a part of Ghost Game now? Not exactly. They do a few things different with this Hawkmon. The first being that we actually get two twin Hawkmon in this episode, partnered with a brand new child and a new evolution path for Hawkmon that probably wasn't who most of us were expecting. We're going to talk about the two Hawkmon, their evolution, the fact that there are other Digidestined style kids out there achieving Digivolution even without the use of the Vital Bracelet DigiVice, and everything else noteworthy from Digimon Ghost Game episode 18. If this happens to be your first time watching the channel, hey, welcome. We've been covering every new episode of Digimon Ghost Game every single week as a little review discussion thing, and some weeks we drop a bonus video talking about the news in the Digimon fandom. And speaking of news in the Digimon fandom, Digimon Con is just around the corner. It's like a multimedia Nintendo Direct for Digimon happening on February 26th, and no doubt they'll be announcing all kinds of cool Digimon merchandise, some of which may end up being Japan exclusive merch. So there's no better time to get yourself acquainted with a proxy service like today's sponsor, Buy. Buy works to let you buy items from popular Japanese marketplaces like Amazon JP or Rakuten, no matter where you are in the world. So Japanese exclusive items basically are a thing of the past with proxy shipping services like Buy. If you sign up for Buy using the link in my video, you're going to get a free 2,000 yen coupon, roughly $20 US, to use on your first purchase. I've used Buy to order DIM cards for my DigiVice Vital Bracelet, and like I said, who knows what cool merch is going to get announced at Digimon Con, so sign up for Buy today. That way you're ready and you're registered when the next Japan exclusive item that you're craving drops. Link is in the bio. Thanks again for sponsoring the video, Buy. Ghost Game episode 18 was an interesting one. Petermon is an obvious play on the Peter Pan fairy tale, and they quickly and quite successfully transformed the story into a great horror material. I mean, if you think about the idea of a creature sneaking into children's room at night and stealing them away from their families, that's Peter Pan, sure, but that's also the most horrifying thing in the world when you remove the context and charm of the Disney animated movie. Our team became aware of Petermon's kidnappings when two Hawkmon come to Hito for help. First of all, two Hawkmon is amazing. No, they aren't Yoli's Hawkmon. It turns out while neither of them are partnered with Yoli, they do have a human partner, a little boy named Kazuma. This is kind of huge. I mean, we did know of other Digimon with partners out there, like Monmon being partnered with Granny a few weeks ago, but this is another child, another kid with a Digimon, even though he doesn't have a Vital Bracelet DigiVice. And he has two partners, Willis style. It makes me wonder what exactly is the true purpose of the Vital Bracelets if other kids and adults can have Digimon partners without even needing a bracelet. And as we see later in the episode, we can even achieve evolution without the bracelets. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The Hawkmon tell Hito that their kid, Kazuma, has gone missing, taken away by Petermon. And another small detail I adore in this scene is that Hito asks why they came to him specifically, and the Hawkmon say that a Digimon named Clockmon is apparently just out there recommending Hito to all Digimon he meets who have a problem. Considering this was our first villain of the series who was reformed when Battle Gammamon basically performed Digi CPR on him, it's very sweet to hear he's out there singing the praises of Hiro and the gang. And another small but noteworthy element of this episode is that Gammamon was leaving Hito for a bit in order to watch anime with Kiyoshiro, which by itself is great, but it's made even better by the fact that last week we had a real full-on partner swapping moment with Ruley and Jellymon teaming up and really straight up issuing battle commands to test the Jellymon. And that of course didn't come out of nowhere. It came after a very small stakes hangout previously when Ruley and Jellymon were kind of getting dressed up nicely at the hotel they were staying at. So while Gammamon and Kiyoshiro watching anime together could just be totally nothing and not go anywhere, it could also be the tease or like the first step in their relationship, showing that they're the next two characters to have a little partner swap moment. Yeah, I'm totally down to see Kiyoshiro commanding Kaus Gammamon or something like that. And skipping around again, we find out where Petermon is taking the kids. It's a little pocket dimension, possibly a section of the digital world, but the episode seems to intentionally not want to tell us that. My guess is that yes, it's technically an area within the digital world. Like, it kind of reminded me of the primary village in the original Digimon Adventure. He's taking kids there to essentially stay children and just play. It's like an eternal recess, and they're joined by their Digimon. Presumably these are Digimon they met in our world, just like how Kazuma met the two Hawkmon. So again, we're looking at a whole group of younger Digidestined or tamers, whatever terminology you want to use, human children with bonds to Digimon basically. We devise a plan to enter this Neverland, and when we do, Petermon freaks out for the fact he does not consider Hito, Ruley, and Kiyoshiro to be children since they're junior high students. He's also adamantly opposed to Digivolution since it's sort of the Digimon equivalent of aging growing up. So a battle breaks out between our team and Petermon, and Kazuma is nearly injured in the crossfire by one of Petermon's blades spinning out of control, and it's at this moment that the two Hawkmon attempt to save Kazuma. I almost thought we might get a repeat of the scene with Gammamon and Orcomon in episode 13, with one of the Digimon making a sacrifice, but instead what happens is the two Hawkmon's willingness and drive to save their human partner actually activates an evolution into Orcamon, which definitely caught me by surprise. I wasn't expecting that, but it is an official evolution path that Hawkmon can take from past entries in the franchise. It actually would have been really neat if the two Hawkmon had different evolution paths, but it's not a big deal. The other kids and their Digimon partners think it's the coolest thing ever that those Hawkmon digivolved, and they all start evolving too. A part of me wants to say this is a little weird because we just had the Orcamon explain that the Digivolution was triggered by the need to help Kazuma in immediate danger, whereas these other Digimon are kind of just evolving out of pure hype of seeing Orcamon. Maybe hype is a strong enough emotion to trigger evolution in this series, I guess. The battle continues a bit longer before we kind of go full circle on the Peter Pan references by having Captain Hawkmon appear in a ship following Hero's speech about how adults aren't entirely awful. So then Petermon kind of goes into the sunset somewhat playfully, battling with Captain Hawkmon. It's a fine ending. It does kind of take the wind out of the sails of the horror element though, like how at the top of the video I said it's actually a really spooky horror premise to have this sort of fairy creature kidnapping children and even making it so their parents don't remember having them. All of that great horror story crafting, all to be resolved in 20 minutes is a bit of a bummer for me, but that's been the case with the majority of these episodes now. Overall though, another episode with a surprising amount of world building, but still not doing much to directly advance the plot of Digimon Ghost Game. To recap, we learned that kids even younger than Hito and the gang are partnering with Digimon out in the real world, which could be huge, but it could also amount to nothing. It all depends on what the writers want to do. We also learned that even without a Vital Bracelet, Digimon who are partnered with humans can not just materialize like Mon did, but they can even digivolve, as in Hawkmon turning into Orcamon. The big question now is, other than the sort of AR field functionality, what exactly is the purpose of the Vital Bracelets then, if they aren't the real key to helping Gammamon, Jellymon, and Orcamon digivolve? So while I do want more by episode 18 in terms of plot trajectory, understanding where we're heading, I do appreciate the lore breadcrumbs we got and the fact that we received them through a pair of twin Hawkmon making a fun cameo in the new season. Let me know what you thought about the episode. As always, are you getting tired or frustrated with Ghost Game, or are you happy with the episodic stuff so far? Do you think that all these little lore breadcrumbs are building to something, or are we just overanalyzing and setting ourselves up for failure? Let me know. Either way, I'm having fun watching this show every week and talking about it with you every week. One little thing, if you made it to the end of the video, I just wanted to say this in video form. If I can be a little honest with you, you might have seen on Twitter, I'm considering changing up the formula of my reviews a little bit when we hit episode 20. I think what's going to happen is I'm still going to review each episode every week, but I'm going to turn down the visual component of this review quite substantially. So the reason why is simply sort of burnout and low energy. Writing the review and recording the audio is not a problem for me. It's actually quite fun, but editing together the visuals, especially in this really short time period to try to get it out as fast as possible, it's pretty draining. And honestly, I've been doing this for over 80 weeks straight. If you consider that there is no break between Adventure 2020 and Ghost Game, it's not rocket science to edit the videos, but it takes a little bit out of you. So I don't want to stop, but I am worried about burning out or resenting the whole thing if I continue going the way I'm going. And I think a solution for that is to still do the episode reviews weekly, but have it mostly be an audio product, still on YouTube, but I'll just chill out with the visuals. Like it might be 4 or 5 screenshots from the episode on repeat, like on a loop, instead of like 20 screenshots and video clips and fancy transitions. I know it's not going to be very fun to look at, but ultimately I imagine if you're clicking on my channel, you want to hear my thoughts on the episode, not just to look at the pictures on screen. And so yeah, just giving you a heads up so nobody is caught off guard if suddenly the video quality drops and you're wondering why I'm not doing like fancy transitions and using clips all the time. Okay, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to that little rant. Have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.